Several Auburn Tigers are looking to take the next step into the NFL, and that starts at the NFL Combine. We're going to talk about who all is heading there and obviously what it means for Auburn football in this edition of Good Morning Auburn. War Eagle Auburn family, War Eagle E2C Network family, and of course, Good Morning Auburn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time talking about being a part of our little Auburn family, talking about this particular topic as well. This obviously future topic about Auburn in the NFL and obviously the NFL Combine. So, what we're going to be talking about today is the list of guys that have made it to the NFL Combine, or at least had the invitations. We'll see, obviously, if injuries, holdout, and all that stuff during their training, and what we might be actually seeing from these guys. And maybe we might even discuss today how that might implicate their draft status. Who maybe can be helped the most by their opportunity to be in the NFL Combine. So we'll do all that in just a second. As we get started, always want to remind you of a couple things to make sure you start off our shows by checking in with us. Post where you're watching from, whether you're watching live, whether you're on the replay. Post where you're watching from, your city, your state, your international, if you're that. And also make sure that you do give us a War Eagle as well. And smash the like button. It's a huge help to us to help people know they need to come check us out and be part of our little family within the Auburn family. So I'm going to go ahead at the very beginning of this, and because I know a lot of you are impatient and you want to go ahead and let me cut to the chase. The question that we pose in this video is, who is going to be going to the NFL Combine? Now, this seems like it's going to be the complete list. This is all the people that I expected to be at least somewhat getting an invitation. I think maybe a surprise or two here is very nice to see. These are all the ones that will be going through drills, that will be getting extra looks at from the NFL, and obviously can do nothing but well, I guess you could hurt your status, but will most likely do nothing but help their draft status by being part of the NFL Combine. So your list of players as of this moment, obviously anybody could be added or drop out: Tank Bigsby, Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Iku Leota, Owen Papo, and Anders Carlson. So that is your, for now, complete list. So I want to spend some time maybe talking about each one of these guys, their situations, and then obviously what the NFL Combine can do for them. So I started off by posing the question, who maybe can be helped the most, or by their situation with the NFL Combine. I think obviously right here at the outstart, what we're discussing right now from the very beginning, the guy on this photo right here, Tank Bigsby, the first one on the photo, can be helped the most. We all know how much he did with very little at Auburn, don't we? The reason we even had a running game at times, again, I always hate to take shots at former and current Auburn players, and it's not intended that way, but the offensive line over the last few years, especially during his time with us, was abysmal. And what he did with that is incredible, but it's also begs the question, what could he have accomplished had he had a offensive line that could have helped him a little bit more? So what we've talked about a lot, especially in the season, is that this guy is right now a steal for NFL teams in the NFL draft, because he's probably at this moment going to get drafted much lower than he should. And especially with the whole idea of running backs having a low life expectancy, this is morbid, low career length in the NFL. So there is that playing into him as well. However, we know the physical specimen that is Tank Bigsby, his speed alongside with his size, his agility. I think he's going to show out at the NFL Combine. So it's no shock that, I didn't even intend it this way. It's just the one I wanted to talk about first. But when I asked the question, when I posed the question, who helps themselves most at the NFL Combine, I think Tank Bigsby is probably right up there. Maybe he will be we'll maybe ask the question at the end, who is the one that's going to be the most helped by the NFL Combine. I think Tank Bigsby is clearly on that list. Let's keep moving. Colby Wooden. Colby Wooden, I think, especially late in the season, came on as people started um, really having to focus on Derek Hall. We all knew Derek Hall was the dominance that he was. And we knew Colby was good too, but I think Colby really showed himself out in the last few games, more than few games, but the last part of the season. And he's been an anchor opposite of Derek Hall throughout their time together, and quite an interesting character as well. So Colby Wooden to me is a guy that's probably already rising in his draft stock. And, it's not that I think that he won't do himself justice or won't do really well at the combine. To me, I think he's probably sitting at where he's going to be, wherever that is in the NFL draft. There's tons of mock drafts out there. And I don't know that the NFL Combine is going to be the thing that launches him into that next tier of players, like it would a Tank, who really suffered from things that were out of his control. Colby had a great opportunity to show what he can do, and boy, did he do it. So maybe he will make big waves in the NFL Combine, but I think he's probably lower on that list for me in terms of what it does for him. Derek Hall. Right now, Derek Hall is expected to be our highest ranked draftee. And I saw one yesterday where he's maybe projected as the second to last or the last pick in the first round, which is a very common spot for Auburn players, it seems like, or at least our top one in the draft of late. We tend to send them like to the Super Bowl champs or the Super Bowl runner-ups or the semifinalists or whatever. Derek Hall is, I think, even though he's he is the highest probably potential in the NFL draft for the Auburn Tigers, I tend to think that he's going to be someone who also benefits from this because of positioning in that first round. Right now, if he finds himself right at the very end of the first round, to be safe on that, you really want to kind of push yourself, show some little extra skills, some extra attributes, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for. The NFL Combine, I think, is something that can really help him show out in some areas and really, outside of game tape, show his athletic ability. And obviously, they're going to go through interviews and things like that, show his leadership ability. So I do think that Derek Hall is someone that's going to benefit very much from the NFL Combine. Obviously, if everything goes well, injuries, all that kind of thing throughout the process and all that. So Derek Hall, I expect that. Iku Leota. So kind of similarly talking about Colby, Derek, Iku, they all fall into the same category. Iku was at that time the equal but opposite to Derek Hall, even though being both edge rushers. Iku was someone that probably could have found himself, if he stayed healthy and found on the trajectory that he was going on, could have found himself maybe not rivaling Derek Hall in where he would have gone, but very high up, in my personal opinion. So when we ask the question about, who's going to be at the NFL Combine and who of these Auburn players can really benefit from this, to me, Iku Leota is very much up there, especially because he hasn't had an opportunity to show that. He's going to be someone that really needs to show out, show that he's healthy, show that he hasn't lost a step. And that can, because I don't know where he falls in the NFL draft. My suspicions is it's not high, if at all. If he wants to really get himself solidified in the draft, a great combine can do that for him. And I believe that he will do that. So for me, he's probably higher up on that list too of who benefits the most from the NFL Combine. We got a couple more here. Owen Papo. Owen is one of those guys that's a little bit, for me, perplexing because came in highly touted. And we saw that highly regarded athleticism, ability, had trouble staying healthy his entire career. To me, that's the biggest knock that's going to be on him for the NFL is, can you stay healthy? And unfortunately, I think that's going to be the thing that, even despite what he may do at the NFL Combine, that's going to concern a lot of people. So I think he can absolutely help him at the NFL Combine, help himself there. He can continue to show that athleticism. He is a physical freak. There's a reason that he's regarded, I think Tim Tebow gave him the Freak Award one time or something like that. But, we've seen all the amazing hits, the athleticism. So I don't know that the NFL Combine will make huge dividends for Owen Papo, but I hope it does because I think he really deserves an opportunity to show that he can stay healthy and that all the hype, which we saw many times, was real when he arrived at Auburn and what he showed at times at Auburn. Lastly, Anders Carlson, a late addition to the NFL Combine. Obviously, he needs it. He had a what I will call a above average career as a kicker at Auburn. Having to follow your brother is a bit of a tough act, especially as dominant as he was here, but as now he's doing on the NFL stage. We've already done a Good Morning Auburn where we talked about his year that he's had, Daniel Carlson. So go check that out. But now you have to make it in the NFL, and you've come off with some injury stuff. Again, very similar story probably to Owen Papo. I think Anders is one of those people that's got to make the most if he wants to get drafted, because just the fact that kickers don't get drafted a ton. If he wants to make the most out of the NFL draft, doesn't mean he won't get picked up. I expect him to get picked up just because of the Carlson name and because he's a good kicker. But asking the question, who benefits most from the NFL draft and who's there? Anders Carlson, I think, needs to benefit the most. And that's just how I feel about it right now. So in summary again, and we'll go back through this and talk about who benefits the most. Tank Bigsby, Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Iku Leota, Owen Papo, and Anders Carlson. So putting the guys who benefit the most from this, I think it's going to be Tank Bigsby, Iku Leota, and even though I don't know what all a kicker can do there, I think Anders is probably going to be high up that list as well. And then kind of an honorable mention, there would be Derek Hall, just because of positioning in the first round overall. That's kind of how I feel about it and how I see who benefits the most. I'm really excited, though. I'm excited to watch, especially Tank, show what he can do athletically at that combine. He is a specimen. So all of the skills assessments that are going to go in with being a running back, a skill player there, are going to be something that's fun to watch and see his speed, his strength, all of that stuff. Same thing for Iku. I'm excited to see what he can show in terms of his athleticism and healthiness after coming off of injuries. All these guys, though, we're going to be wishing the best of luck and watching them eagerly. But it's a great group that I think is going to be representing Auburn at the NFL Combine, and potentially a great group that could represent Auburn in the NFL draft. It's a good sign about you being in the draft when you're invited to the NFL Combine. At least that's a positive sign in the direction that you want to start heading. So those are my thoughts on there. If you have any final thoughts, opinions about these guys in the draft, let me know. Post those down there in the comment section right now, live or on the replay. A couple reminders for you. We still are planning to do another Good Morning Auburn segment this week, but obviously just check in with us in the morning to see if it's there. And our next scheduled live stream will be a post-game live stream after the Auburn-Alabama basketball game, the matchup, the Iron Ball, whatever we want to call it. So that would be our next scheduled things. Check out the links in the description for ways that you can help support our content here. Subscriber giveaway going on, so subscribe. We got a channel membership program starting at $1. Also a booster club program with extra perks starting at $1 at patreon.com/E2C Network. There's other links in the description that can help you support us if you'd like to do that. But the biggest thing you can do is just be here, smash the like button, be part of our little family within the Auburn family. And we appreciate you doing that for us today. In summary, one more time, your list of players: Tank Bigsby, Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, Iku Leota, Owen Papo, and Anders Carlson. Good luck to these guys. Really excited to watch how they might perform in the Combine and in the NFL draft. And we will be supporting you the whole way until we talk to you again. War Eagle.